guys, welcome back. If you're new here, my name is Becca and today I have some 5-star predictions. So I have previously made 2 of these videos on my channel. However, I think that the last one I made could have been 2018, possibly 2019, but I do think it was longer ago than that. And I do plan to revisit those videos one day. But from each of those videos, there are just 1 or 2 books that I have not gotten around to yet, which is quite shameful. I know, I'm working on it. But today I have 5 books that I'm going to be talking to you guys about that I think that I will be giving 5 stars. Now, this is harder than it used to be for me to pick books that I think are going to be my new favorites because I'm a lot more selective these days about the books that I do give 5 stars to. So we have a couple of sequels here, but I have also tried to pick a few books that you maybe would not expect from me, books that I haven't spoken about very recently, so you may forget that I even have them, and just books that I think I'm really gonna love. And when I was making this list of 5 books, I did actually discover quite a few books that I own that I was previously desperate to read, kind of fell by the wayside, and it has reignited my interest to dive into those. So hopefully these have now been bumped up my TBR quite a bit. But starting off with the sequels, the first one that we have is Starsight by Brandon Sanderson. This is the sequel to Skyward. It is one of Sanderson's young adult sci-fi series, and in Skyward we are following a girl called Spencer, who is the daughter of a deserter. So herself and her family have been branded cowards, and this actually has a lot of repercussions in this world. Spencer's family aren't even allowed to have real jobs because of this. So Spencer's life has been incredibly difficult, but all she wants is to become a fighter pilot like her father was, and people are making this very hard for her. Now, I do typically give Brandon Sanderson books 5 stars. Out of the 8 that I've read, I think there's 3, possibly 4 that I've given 4 stars, but the first book in this series, Skyward, is one of the ones that I've given 4 stars. The reason for that is that Spencer is quite a interesting character. Throughout the beginning of Skyward, she is not the best character to follow. She's a little bit annoying, and that is because she is incredibly aggressive towards everybody that she meets, and she kind of just like pushes people away from her straight away, and in some cases, a lot of cases, actually makes the situation more difficult for herself. However, through character development, by the end of the first book, I did like her a lot more, and as we got more information on what was going on, I continued to warm to her and the story throughout the course of the first book. So even though I gave the first book 4 stars, I feel like a lot of the main issues I had were resolved in that first book, and because of that, I think there's a good chance that Starsight will be a 5-star read for me. The other sequel we have is the Traitor Queen by Danielle L. Jensen. This is the sequel to The Bridge Kingdom. This one is a new adult high fantasy romance, and it follows a girl who has been kept in seclusion with her sisters. I think she has 12 sisters in total. There were more, but there's only 12 left, and they have been training their entire lives to eventually be married to the king of the Bridge Kingdom and to assassinate him so that their father can take his kingdom. So when it comes down to it, only one of them is going to be chosen. The main character is the one who is chosen for the job, and she heads over to the Bridge Kingdom only to find out that the things that she thought about the Bridge Kingdom may not actually be true. So the main reason that people want control of the Bridge Kingdom is that there is this big bridge where most of the trade passes through, and the king of the Bridge Kingdom does charge people to be able to use this bridge. So there's a lot of war surrounding this kingdom, and people have been trying to capture the bridge for themselves so that they don't have to pay the tariff. I really enjoyed the first book, especially as we got up to the end. However, I did find it to be quite slow moving, and the character was ignorant in a lot of ways. I do understand because of the way that she was raised and the things that she was being told, but the things that were happening right in front of her face were in direct opposition of the things that she believed that she knew, and she took a long time to come around to the truth and like open her eyes to what was really happening here. So I'm hoping that the sequel, The Traitor Queen, is going to be less in that direction, especially because there's a massive plot twist at the end of the first book. I'm really excited to see how this one unfolds, and because the main character has been trained as an assassin, there are a lot of elements of her character that I really like she's super lethal, super ruthless, and she is committed to the cause, whatever cause it may be that she she is pursuing at the time. Now, for the next one, I was torn between a number of sci-fi series that I own because I do think I'm going to really love them all. I don't read a ton of sci-fi. I read a good bit, but I don't read an overwhelming amount. And the ones that I do have, I'm really excited about. And I also do tend to really enjoy sci-fi, and also maybe I'm just picking really good sci-fi when I'm deciding what I'm reading. But the one that I decided to go for is Leviathan Wakes by James S.A. Corey. Now, I do think I'm going to really enjoy this series, but there are a couple of things I've heard about it that make me question slightly. So this is a multi-perspective, like, epic sci-fi series. We follow at least two perspectives in here. One of them is an ice miner whose crew stumbles across a big secret that means that their lives are in danger, and one of the other perspectives is a detective who is searching for this girl, and he's searching across the galaxy for her. I do know very little about the plot of this. I almost started the TV show the other day, but I do really want to at least start the series first. But I've just heard this described as a really, like, epic, complex sci-fi series, which I can't lie, those kind of stories I love. On the flip side of that, I have also heard that this is extremely fast-paced, and you guys know me, I don't love fast-paced stories, but these books are quite substantial, and I believe there's 9 or 10 of them in total, so there is a good bit of story here, even if the pacing is fast. But I do think it is really going to depend on the tone, the style of writing, how in-depth this is, as to whether I give this 5 stars or not. But regardless, I do have high hopes. I've heard excellent things, and I think that this is a strong contender for a 5-star read from me. Next up, we have Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. This includes one of my favorite character archetypes, and that is old man warriors. I don't know if there's an official name for that archetype, but I really love the character who is the older warrior who has already lived their lives. You know, they've had their glory, but for whatever reason they are pulled back into the fray. They have to take up their arms again and rejoin the cause. So this book is the first in a series, but I believe that they are more companion novels and they follow different characters per book. I've also heard that this has made people cry, which I'm a little bit surprised about. But it follows a band of mercenaries who have been retired a long time. However, one day one of the members of this crew turns up and asks if they can get the group back together again, and I believe that is because his daughter has gone missing or has been kidnapped, and he would like to find her. I've heard that this is really funny. I've also heard that it's fun, and when I hear that books are fun, I'm a little bit hesitant. Sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. But this was a gift from Cody quite a while ago because we've been talking about it. Cody thinks I'm going to love it. We have very similar taste in fantasy. We love a lot of the same things in fantasy, and Cody really, really loves this one, so I do think I'm going to as well. It has that old man warrior trope thing going on. I'm excited for the banter in here, and as well as that, it supposedly packs an emotional punch, all things which I love. And the last one we have today, I would say, is the biggest wild card because I don't hear many people talk about this series anymore, and with fantasy, I struggle to give a good summary without reading the book if I haven't heard other people talk about it, because I read the synopsis and without the context, because of like fantastical language and terminology, my brain just does not really grasp a good summary. So I really have very little idea what this series is about, but that is the Seven Realms series by Cinda Williams-Chimer. I do believe that this is part of an extended universe as well. There are more series that make up this entire story, but I don't even know if this is young adult or adult, because I believe in the US it is classed as young adult, but in the UK it has been published as adult. So I have no idea like what the style or tone or anything of this novel is going to be. It is a complete wild card, but I believe that it is like an epic fantasy. We have a character who's a thief, there's a princess, there's a wizard, and I believe that one day the thief stumbles across the son of a high wizard trying to set fire to a sacred mountain. So the thief steps in to stop him, and that puts his life in danger. And I believe we also have a princess who is aspiring to be like a historical figure in this world who stopped the Demon King. I think the Demon King is a very powerful wizard, but yeah, high epic fantasy. It seems like it has a complicated plot. Don't know if it's multi-perspective, but based on all of these characters, I'm assuming it is, and I think I'm going to enjoy it. I really don't know. If you guys have read this one, please do let me know if you think it's going to be my thing, because I really can't tell, but I have really, really high hopes. You know how there's just some series and books that just speak to you despite not knowing much about them? That is one of those things for me, and it's also a massive plus that it is part of an extended universe, because if I love something, I want to read everything. Like, I want to know more about the world, about different characters, about the history, so it also has that in its favor as well. But there you have it. These are my 5. Oh, we have some slippy covers in here. These are my 5 2021 5-star predictions. Please let me know down in the comments if you've read any of these and you gave them 5 stars. Also, if you've read any of these and you think that they do actually have potential for me to give them 5 stars, because some of these I'm unsure about, but I'm very, very hopeful. I'm hopeful that at least most of these are gonna pull through for me. But aside from that, please don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you wanna. If you head to my description box, you'll find a link to my Goodreads, Instagram and Twitter if you'd like to follow me on any of those, as well as links to my Bookish body butter and candle website, the Instagram for that, and 10% off discount code. But that's it from me today, guys. Bye.
Oh, you bite your friend like chocolate. You say you'll go where nobody knows, with guns hidden under our petticoats. We're never gonna quit it, no, we're never gonna quit it, no.